Hello, welcome to the third video of today's class, of World Geography. So the third video we're going to see another important concepts, that is the imaginary lines, that is basically the latitudes and the longitudes. So in school you all would have seen pretty basics about this, so we're just going to see a quick revision about latitudes and longitudes. Several important questions will come in this topic, so it is very important to focus on this. Right, okay. So both of these are basically just imaginary lines which man has created for easy measurement. Latitudes and longitudes are used for measuring time, they are used for measuring they are used for measuring the location that we are exact while traveling, be it flight or ship or any other modes. So the difference between latitudes and longitudes is that the latitudes are horizontal, right, whereas the longitudes are vertical. And also there are different types of key latitudes and key longitudes as well. So latitudes we have 6 lines. I'm sorry for the poor drawing. So this 0 degree is called as equator. We have 23 degree north as well as 23.5 south. Similarly, we have 66.5 north and 66.5 south. So this is called as a Tropic of Cancer, and this is called as a Tropic of Capricorn. This is Arctic Circle, which is in the north, and this is the Antarctic Circle, which is in the south. Similarly, longitudes, we have the 0 degree longitude, which is called as the prime meridian, and we have 180 degree, which is called as the international date line, and then in between them somewhere we have the 82 degree 0.5, in which the Indian Standard Time is being calculated. So with this we'll see the other important details. So this international date line is between Russia and US. So once you cross the international date line, it is said that there is a change in the date. So we'll just see how. For example, if you go from the India to the US, you cross the international date line somewhere here. There must be a diagram with it exactly. Yeah, so the international date line is here. So if you go from the India to the US, you are crossing the international date line from the east to the west, which means India is ahead, so you go back a day. And in reverse, if you go from the US to India, you cross the international date line from the east to west. So US is behind, India is ahead, so you go front a day, right? So this is the international date line. Samoa Island recently decided to shift itself on the west side. This is something happened that in 2024, and our IST is 5.5 hours earlier than the GMT. This passes through Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Andhra Pradesh in India. This is the 23.5 north. So this passes through Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Mizoram in India. India is on the top of the equator, so it is in the north hemisphere. And then there are 2 types of solar eclipses. Okay, before going to this, we'll also finish the other concepts in latitudes. So there are totally 181 lines in latitudes, and the distance between them will always be the same, because if this is the latitude, we can see that the distance between them will be the same, right? But the length will keep on changing, either decrease or increase. So distance between each latitude, every couple of latitudes will be 112 kilometers. And in this diagram, we can see that this is the torrid zone and this is the temperate zone. The torrid zone is the most hot zone because the rays are direct on them. So tropical countries live in this torrid zone. India is a tropical country, as it is exactly somewhere here, right? So this is a temperate zone in which the climate is slightly cooler. In the Arctic and Antarctic oceans, they are very extreme. We can see that 6 months they have summer and 6 months they have winter, so it is called as the frigid zone. Another fact about the equator is that Lake Victoria in Africa lies exactly on the equator. Longitudes. There are 360 when compared to the 181 longitudes. There are 360 longitudes. Sorry, 181 latitudes. There are 361 longitudes because for each 1 degree there is a longitude line, right? So unlike here where the length increases, here the length remains the same, but the distance between them changes. So the length of each longitude is 111.32. Okay, so for every 15 degrees there is a change in latitude. Sorry, every 15 degrees change in longitude, there is a 60-minute change, 1 hour change. So the 0 degree longitude and latitude passes in the Atlantic Ocean. So there are other quick concepts that we can see. We have eclipses. Eclipses. As we know, there are 2 types of eclipses. There is the solar eclipse as well as the lunar eclipse. So as the name suggests, in the solar eclipse, the sun is the one that is being hidden. So we know there is a sun, there is earth and there is moon. So when the moon comes in between the sun and the earth, it hides a part of the sun, right? So then it leads to a solar eclipse. This always happens on a new moon day because a new moon day is the one in which the moon is in its full shape, which means it is much more equipped enough to hide the sun better. So the solar eclipse, the end of a solar eclipse look like this, which is called as a diamond ring. Then in the lunar eclipse, the earth comes between the moon and the sun. So there is the sun and there is the moon. So the earth is in between the moon and the sun. So the earth's shadow falls on the moon, which means a part of the moon is also hidden. So this leads to the lunar eclipse. Another quick 3 concepts are there which we have to see. The first one is icostacy. Icostacy is where there is always almost the weight seems to be equal. This weight or density seems to be equal. This is similar to the steady state theory which we saw in the cosmology in the same video. Sorry, in the last video. So in icostacy, the weight or density almost remains to the same. There are 2 opposing forces, a force which tries to pull and there is a force which tries to pull. So these forces remain in balance. So when the ice plates melt, there is also a lowering of the sea height level, which leads to 2 opposing forces, which leads to an increase in sea level in the Canada and Scandinavian countries. Another concept is called as isodynamic line. So this is an imaginary line on the Earth's surface in which throughout all the line the horizontal magnetic field is same. This is called as isodynamic line. And then there is another concept called as isoneffs, in which there are imaginary lines among the Earth in which the cloudiness is said to be the same. I was really mind blown when we came this concept because how awesome is that, right? Okay, so next we'll continue about the atmosphere and climate, which is another small topic as we can see. So the atmosphere is nothing but the vast expanse of air which envelops the Earth all around. There are 5 types of layers in the Earth. We saw previously the inner parts of the layer. We saw there is a crust, there is a mantle, there is a core. We saw their composition too. Now we are going to see the outer atmosphere. So there are 5 atmospheres. The lowest one is called as the troposphere. It contains 75% gases because that atmosphere is what we breathe in, what humans survives, right? And then we have the stratosphere. The stratosphere is known for its ozone layer. So the temperature slightly increases here. And then we have the mesosphere. The word meso in itself means middle. Like again, when we come across paleo, meso and neo, you can also see meso is also in the middle because meso means middle. So mesosphere is the coldest region, which contains around minus 100 degrees Celsius. And then we have the ionosphere. Like the name suggests, many free ions are present here. So this can be used for the exposure, for the transmission of radio waves. And then we have the exosphere. Exosphere, exo means outer. So we have the exosphere. Similarly, we saw earlier that the moon's outer layer is also called as the lunar exosphere. Exosphere is called as the magnetosphere. And the temperature rises here constantly. A quick information about how far this layer goes. So in troposphere it is 0 to 18, in stratosphere is 18 to 50, in mesosphere it is 50 to 80, in ionosphere it is 80 to 600, and in exosphere it is greater than 600. Okay. And then we're going to see about the atmospheric composition. What is the atmosphere composed of? So we saw that troposphere has 75% of all the gases. So what is all the gases composed of? It is 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.93 argon, and 0.03 carbon dioxide. So these are the division among the constituencies of atmosphere. So together this is around 1%, and the remaining 21% is oxygen and 78% is nitrogen. And then we quickly see what greenhouse effect is. So greenhouse effect is that absorbs and emits radiation with the thermal infrared range. Primary CHCs are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane and ozone. This is an important question. Among this, nitrogen dioxide is a major cause of acid rain. So nitrogen, oxygen becomes nitrogen dioxide under certain chemicals. This is called as the greenhouse effect, greenhouse gas effect. So this is primarily responsible for acid rain. So this increase in Earth's average temperature due to the effect of greenhouse gases is called as global warming. Atmospheric pressure, pressure exerted by the atmosphere due to its weight, is measured by the mercury barometer. Okay, so in the next video we'll be seeing global geographical data. As you can see, we are seeing landforms and then plateaus, lagoons, rivers, cyclones, peaks, oceans, lakes, winds. So we can see it's going to be a very useful as well as interesting couple of videos. Thank you.